Alright, so Flames of War, long-term campaign. So this is essentially what me and Max have come up with and have templated and planned on doing and everything. So it's an idea I thought up a little while ago, and we're finally putting it into the execution phase of actually doing it. So today, what I'm going to be going over is essentially like the rules, the concept, the map, and then our forces set up or whatever. So technically, at the time of recording this, we have already set up the rules and we've actually played the first game. So you're going to see a few things in here, which in all honesty will actually help out for how certain things are going to look. So let's just dive right into it. So on this page right here, we're utilizing Roll20 for kind of like the setup and organization of this. But so on here is the premise, idea, and some of like the rule sets or whatever. So long-term Flames of War campaign. We both choose a side. We stick with that side for the majority of the campaign, i.e. Axis and Allies. So I'm playing the Allies. So I have both British and American troops. And then for the Axis, it's just Germans for right now. Max is playing the Germans, and I've got the Allies. So we assemble a different series of formations within those factions that we can pull from throughout the campaign. We are limited to those formations and what remains within formations post-battle. So, if only a platoon of riflemen survive, then they're moved back into your reserves for future engagements, or they can be placed in a more forward position in the next game as if they were retreating with the enemy in pursuit. So, some of these things, when it comes down to when we actually see it on the board, depending on how everything sets up or whatever, we might end up nixing certain pieces of this because this is all super experimental. When we looked up to see if Flames of War actually had any of these rules, we found a similar but very not up-to-date game mode or whatever, so we're kind of homebrewing a lot of this stuff. So for the overall campaign, we choose from different World War II maps. Essentially, what we ended up doing is we went through the game Hell Let Loose and looked at a bunch of different maps that we'd be able to set up using the boards and terrain pieces that we have. So, and we'll also get to that a little bit later in this video. Then we established an agreed upon order of maps if we choose multiple. So we're only doing like one overall map, but we've broken that map into sections. So the overall goal of this campaign is to hold key objectives and ultimately control the majority or the whole campaign map. From how it's working right now, looks like it's just going to be, controlling the whole map depending on how many battles we have to do and how long it ends up taking. There will be special bonuses and penalties in the campaign. Such things could include finding enemy intel, which could, allow you a bonus in the next game of placing a fraction of your opponent's units in the next game. Not all battles will be the same. There are different game modes in the base game of Flames of War, and we can organize certain scenarios, like where one player may already be occupying a town, but the attacker would be able to deploy from multiple edges of the board. So there's different deployment options within the rulebook itself, so we're going to be playing around with some of those as well. This is where we kind of got into the more specifics of the rules right here, is these 3 key points. So each player is going to be commanding roughly a battalion-sized force consisting of 6 companies with formations within those companies of 120 points each. Though each company is 120 points, players can pull a detachment of up to 30 points from another formation to assist in the battle. This unit will not initially deploy at the start of the game. They will arrive the same way troops do in the reinforcement game mode. Specifically, the way that I'm thinking is the immediate reinforcement mode from the rulebook. And then outside of the first match, the question of who attacks and defends will not be determined by the dice rolls. Whoever wins the first match will automatically become the attacker for the second battle, and the next zone from the campaign map will be where the next battle takes place. If the defender wins the second battle, then they become the attacker on the same board for the next engagement, and so on. So let me go ahead and kind of like break that down for you on the map. Alright, so right here is the map that we have. So we ended up choosing the foil map, as we figured that would be the easiest map to set up utilizing the boards and terrain. So obviously it's not going to be exact. So the boards that I have, um, that I built from scratch, uh, the roads are already like permanently placed on it. So when I made it, made the boards. I was still fairly new, or pretty new to Flames of War or whatever. So some of the terrain features on the boards are permanent, but what I did end up doing is I made it so that the boards can be rotated and changed out to an extent so that they're more customizable in a sense. So as you can see, yeah, you got the Allied side on the southern edge of the map and the Axis side on the northern edge. We broke it up into 5 zones, so you have 1, 2 Alpha, 2 Bravo, 3 Alpha, and 3 Bravo. So first battle took place here on Zone 1. Max, or I'll let you see that in all honesty, but actually no. So Max ended up winning that battle or whatever. So what we're going to do there now is we're going to go ahead, pull down these tokens or whatever, place the battle marker right there, and get the access markers set up as well. So we've got those set up now, everything. So the next battle is going to be taking place in Zone 2 Bravo. And from here, I'll go ahead and show you guys exactly what other neat tips and tricks we kind of put into this whole thing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually delete that because we ended up not using it. So we have the allied formations, the axis formations, the, as I call them, the bonus features, and then the casualty list, just to keep track of, you know, who all died. And then up here is where we're storing the battle reports and everything. So we completed the first battle report. We'll get into that in a minute here. I just set up the second battle report for when we do that in the next few coming days. So first we're going to go into the allied formations. So this right here, we're just going to head scroll down. So you can see I've got a total of 6 units, or 6 companies that are, give or take, we agreed upon, give or take, plus or minus 5 points per company. So another thing is we're also not following the rules super strictly. We are kind of homebrewing a few things because I love Flames of War, don't get me wrong. It does oversimplify or stupefy almost some certain rules, such as, you know, what's considered a flank shot on a tank and so on. But if you couldn't already tell, the unit that I utilized in the first battle was the Fury Company with American points at 123 points. Consisted of, you know, my 2x Shermans late, along with all these other guys. Ultimately, I lost the battle, obviously, as you can see here from the map. But I was able to inflict some casualties on Max's formation as well, just not as many as I had been hoping for. But what I'm most likely going to end up doing for our second battle is I'll probably end up utilizing a British formation as my anti-tank units, or just units that are better against heavy armor, in all honesty, are more consolidated within my British units that I have saved up. But yeah. And then Max is about halfway done with his formation. So he has 3 formations set up. Falcon Company, they're not complete yet. And I did the math earlier. I think they're at 93 points currently. But so he utilized Purifier Company against me. He hasn't updated it on here necessarily, but we went ahead and put it on the casualty list, which you'll see here shortly. But these are what his formations are going to be looking like. So yeah. And then we'll go ahead and go into bonus features. So we added just 2 for right now, just to keep things kind of simple. So the first one is supply depots. So there may be the occasional supply depot on the board. If a player is able to secure and hold the supply depot for 2 turns, then they are able to successfully acquire the supplies within that compound and can utilize them at their discretion for the next game. So essentially what that means is Max went ahead and 3D printed off some little like supply depot terrain pieces that we can put on the board. And the ruling that we determined for that was if you can get a unit within 2 inches of that supply depot, and if they're there for a full 2 turns without leaving the 2-inch range from the object or from the supply depot, then that player captures those supplies, and you can utilize them to set up extra terrain pieces such as barriers or sandbags and shit in the next game to help better your defense if you lost that fight. Then next thing we have is captured intel. So at the beginning of each game, both players will place down a defense objective representing their army's intel. The intel will initially be placed 6 inches outside of the deployment area. If the opposing player is able to capture that intel, then they choose one unit of their choice from the opposing player's army to place down next game. They may deploy it as far as 6 inches away from the owner's deployment zone. So what that means is, we put down objective markers, like your standard Flames of War objective markers on the board. And if you're able to capture it, then what you get to do next game is, because you captured enemy intel, the whole idea is you know where certain units are going to be at. So what we agreed upon was if you have captured enemy intel, then you are allowed to place down one full enemy unit from your picking. They don't have a say in it on the board or whatever. So you can choose where a certain unit is going to be. So you can go ahead and better plan around that aspect depending on what the formation consists of. We were thinking about a few other ones, but since that, this is a lot of kind of in the weeds homebrew stuff with a game that we're still not full-on subject matter experts in, we decided we'd just leave it with this for right now. But yeah. Then on to the casualty list. So from my Fury company, I lost 4 75mm Shermans, 4 76mm Shermans, 2 of my Pershings. I lost about 8 to 9 rifle teams, and then 1 M8 Scott during it. So of my 2 infantry platoons that deployed, neither of them were completely wiped, but they both did take considerable casualties closer to the end of the game. And then for Max, he lost 2 of his Panthers, a Panzer Grenadier platoon along with its headquarters squad, 4 Stugs, and a Panzer III OP. I was hoping to take out more of his Panthers, but I'll take what I can get for right now, I guess. But yeah. And then we'll go into Battle Report 1 after you guys have seen the actual battle report itself. Alright, so this is the first of hopefully many battle reports. So today we are starting what is hopefully going to be a semi-long campaign that me and my brother came up with. So what we're going to be going over first here is our formations that we came up with for this battle. So my formation consists of, or my battle group essentially for this battle will consist of 2 formations here. So we have our armored and then our infantry. So first we're going to start with the infantry. So we have a rifle company headquarters along with the parachute rifle platoons and everything. So I added on 1 point so that they both have an extra bazooka team. Then over here we have our Sherman headquarters unit with our 76mm Sherman platoon and our 75mm Sherman platoon. Then on top of that, we also have a Pershing platoon along with a support detachment of a M8 Scott platoon for artillery purposes. I chose not to go with the Grasshoppers since that American infantry also can observe. And over here, Max, go ahead and explain your forces really quick.
All right, so we have an SS Panzer Grenadier squad here, manning all with Panzerfaust. We have Panzer III OP, along with our HQ SS of an SS Panzer Grenadier company, which is manned with a small contract, a Stug group of 5 Stugs. We have a Panther group, and then 2 Panther Lace. One of them is an HQ with the 2, and then with the 3, that's just a normal formation, but the Panthers are HQ is with the formations of the other two Panthers, and then the Stug, Panzer 3 OP, Panzer Grenadier HQ, and the Panzer Grenadier platoon is all manned and information with that.
All right, bet. And we will come back again once we have our deployment set up. All right, we're gonna roll really quick to see who goes first and who goes second.
Oh man.
A 5. All right. I choose attacker. All right, so just finished our deployment here. So for me, running my Americans, as I've called them, Fury Company, I've got my platoon of my 76 millimeter Shermans over here, along with a platoon of the parachute rifle infantry. Then right here, I've got my platoon of 75 millimeter Sherman infantry. We've got another rifle platoon, our platoon of Pershings, my Sherman headquarters, our Scots, and then my infantry headquarters. So you can obviously see the color differentiation right here going all the way across. So everything on this side is considered terrain, like forest or whatever, rough terrain. So any kind of vehicles that go in there have to do a cross check if they want to move. And then same with this portion right here. Then we got our wheat fields in the middle with a little grain silo made out of popsicle sticks. Got a little setup of buildings right here. My intel objective that I need to defend is going to be right here, whereas Max's is going to be right there in that backyard. We have one supply depot by the municipal building, and then another stash of supplies, just this little 3D print of sandbags, over by our other setup of farm buildings. And yeah, let's go over to Max's side.
Alright, so we got a late Panther squad over on our far left. We have our HQ Panzer Grenadiers over here as well, with Panthers normal on this road here. Panzer 3 OP in the center to keep an eye on everything. We have a Stug company moving down over here. Panther HQ as well in this area, as well as our Panzer Grenadier platoon.
All right, so for my turn, I obviously didn't move my artillery at all. They can range most of the board. Not all of it, but most of it. Didn't move the headquarters of the artillery or the other headquarters. Pushed my Pershings, up and everything, along with cross-country rushing my infantry platoon over here, also occupying that building right there. I pushed the Shermans up into the wheat field. I pushed my 76 millimeter Shermans over here due to Max's Panther platoon over there. If they were Fireflies, I would have kept them straight, but unfortunately they're only 76s, so their AT is 12 instead of 14. And I pushed them up to the edge of the forest. Hopefully I can get them in there. For shooting, I went ahead and shot two of these guys at the Panther headquarters, and I got one bailed. I didn't kill anything this turn, unfortunately. Shot these guys at them. No effects on target. Went ahead, shot two of these Shermans at the Panthers over there. I got one bailed out. And shot the other two at his headquarters, which was just hardcore evasive maneuvering. Each fucking shot like fucking Neo from the Matrix. And yeah, that was my shooting turn. So now we're going to go into the Germans' turn for moving, shooting, and assaulting.
Alright, so I blitzed these guys, but they weren't able to see anything, so it doesn't matter. I moved up my half track and deployed these guys in this building here for my HQ unit. He shot into there. Did get a hit, but it was saved. My Panthers moved up. Didn't blitz at all here, but they did take out one of their Shermans over there. One of them. Oh, did I shoot this guy over there?
Fuck, no, you didn't.
All right. Well,
Go ahead,
then we'll
roll
do
for
a
him.
live roll for that shit. And then this guy didn't shoot either, so into your infantry.
Oh, man. So it's going to be 5 up to hit those guys. Wait, no, 6.
to hit those. He didn't hit, and
Nope.
then over into there.
5 up.
5 up. He hits,
Save 3 up.
and he saves.
Saves.
All right. Other than that, moving on, move these guys up into here. He's did nothing. These guys shot into there and actually took out one of his Shermans. These two moved up, or blitzed, and they were able to bail out one of his Pershings, and these guys moved up, getting ready to try and take an objective. But other than that, more successful than his turn, but also still a little scary.
Yeah, so he took out 2 of my fucking Shermans. Not a big fan of it, but my Pershings are still in this fight. I can still get them back in, so here's hoping. All right, so American turn 2. I went ahead and pushed my fucking Sherman headquarters up, just to get further up there. Pershing stayed in their position so they could get the halter rate of fire. I was able to successfully take out that Panther section. Went ahead, yeah. So I went ahead, utilized the American infantry to observe for right here, where Max had a lot of his infantry at. I was actually able to take out 3 squads with them. Then that infantry platoon went ahead and took out 2 more squads on top of that. Went ahead and pushed these Shermans up. They were able to take out 1 Stug this time, thankfully. And then over here, these 76s went ahead and shot the Panthers. As you can see, nothing happened. And then went ahead, pushed the infantry up into the forest right here. And yeah, that is where we are currently at. Onto the German turn 2. All right, so German at turn 2. What happened?
Panthers removed. They shot into there, killed another, as well as these guys shot into there, bailed one. He tried shooting, did nothing. These guys fired in there, bailed one, killed one. He fired in there, almost got one, but didn't. He shot a Panzerfaust and bailed one, and he almost killed one, but didn't. So we have one in the house, but not a successful turn.
Gotcha. All right, so now we're going to be moving on to American turn 3. All right, so American turn 3. So I went ahead and moved the Pershings up. Kept the infantry in position. Unfortunately, I failed the bail back in of that Sherman right there. And then this guy got back in, though, fortunately. So those Shermans I kept on standby just in case I had to fucking bombard that house with 50 cal. Fortunately, we did not, as that infantry wiped what German infantry was still left over here. These Pershings pushed up. Even though it might look like he has a line of sight, he does not. These two, however, did. What is it? They missed their shots, though. Over here, though, these guys, they got a hit in. Right? These guys got a hit in.
Yeah.
Someone got a hit in. I killed one of your Stugs.
Yep.
So he got a hit in. These guys tried shooting at the Panthers again, and absolutely nothing happened. They tried observing for artillery right there on the little ranging marker to no effect. And that was American turn 3. On to the German turn 3. All right, so German was this turn 2 or 3?
3.
3. All right, so German turn 3.
All right. This Panther and this guy shot into there. They killed 2 of the infantry in there. These 2 and these 5 all shot into those Shermans and killed both of them. And now this one is within 2 inches of this supply node, so we may, if we keep it and uncontested, then we get that one for the next game. And then these 3 Stugs fired into there. They killed one, and now have double billed this one. And then this guy, seeing his buddies get fucking massacred, has now shot into here and killed 2 of that infantry in these little garden square.
All right, on to the Americans, turn 4. All right, so American turn 4. I went ahead and pushed these Sherman headquarters forward to acquire the supplies, so they're starting that. So by the end of my next turn, if they're still there, I'll have that supply cache under control. These Pershings went ahead and shot into the Stugs right there. Did I get one with the? No, I bailed one with the Pershings.
Well, and you got the one in the wheat.
Yeah, so I bailed one with the Pershings. This guy who's still in the fight, he was able to get one of the other Stugs. So
no, it was all Persians actually. This guy bounced off of this.
Okay, gotcha. So over here, obviously these guys can't do anything. So push the infantry up. My 2 bazooka teams occupied that little farm hut, fired into him. They were able to bail him, but they couldn't kill him. So on the Germans' next turn, he's going to have to, if he's able to motivate them back in, then he's going to have to do a skill check to see if he can resume capturing that supply cache, or if he has to restart capturing that supply cache. So on to German, turn number 4. All right, German turn 4.
All right, these Panthers stay put, tried shooting the cannons into there, as well as this guy and these 2 riflemen I have in here. They got nothing except for 1 infantry. That didn't matter because he didn't have a bazooka. These Panthers have moved on to try and help out over on the right flank. They shot at the Pershings. They missed. These 2 Stugs shot in and finally finished off that squad, and this guy shot in that infantry and didn't kill a thing. Not very successful, but movement was important.
Yeah. All right, so American turn 5. So Scots, with American infantry assistance, ranged in right here. We were able to get, or they didn't get any hits or anything, unfortunately. Pershing over here, the one furthest out, was able to take out 1 more Stug, so now he's going to have to start making some morale checks over there for last stand. These 2 Pershings took their chance. They were able to get 1 Panther bailed out, unfortunately. Then the bazookas inside that house tried taking out the half-track. They failed. The infantry over here took their shots at the headquarters within that building right there. They were able to get multiple hits, but only got 1 kill. And yeah, so now we're going to be moving on to German, turn 5. Oh, and for the record, when I put him together, I accidentally glued his turrets straight forward, but he is technically facing backwards towards the American infantry right now. All right, so German turn 5.
I had a shit ton of stuff firing to there, and I just pinned them down. They all survived. Panthers shot over into here as well as a Stug, and all I got was a bailout on the Persians, and he got a hit, but it doesn't matter. So pretty crappy turn, but I did claim the supply. So
that is true. Oh, and that's another thing. I did claim the supplies over here for next game as well. All right, so American turn 6, right? All right, so Pershing's gonna move. He's still bailed, unfortunately. So the one next to the bailed out one took a shot at the Panthers. We were able to successfully bail 1. The artillery took their shot. They bailed 1 as well. Pershing up top took his shot, unfortunately, and was only able to bail the last Stug right there. And then over here, the infantry, bazooka team specifically, were able to shoot into the half track And I'm just remembering I forgot to roll for the infantry shooting to the house again. So we're going to do some live rolls really quick. All right, so they didn't move, but they're pinned down, so they still have reduced or moving rate of fire. So it's going to be 4 shots. 4 or 5 to hit?
4 up to hit.
4 up to hit. So we got 2 hits.
3 up. Both good.
All right. On to German, turn number 6?
I think so.
All right. All right, so German turn 6.
Yeah, so these guys, they didn't get back in, nor did he did. One of them came back in, one of them's still out. But these guys still suck ass. They can't get anything over there. These guys took out a Pershing, and one is still bailed. This Panther and this OP basically shot in the infantry, took out all 3 here. That's German turn.
All right, on to American turn numero 7. All right, so American turn number 7. So this Persian was able to get back in, but he unsuccessfully shot at the Panthers. This Persian right here decided to switch targets, took out the Panzer III OP, which was laying waste to my infantry. Artillery hit nothing this turn. And then over here, this infantry platoon was finally able to take out the infantry headquarters, and forcing the half track, forcing the last headquarters team to retreat, forcing this Stug to make multiple morale checks, as he is about to have to do now, coming up in the next minute here. And that was the American turn. All right, German turn number 7.
These guys left. They're out. But these 3 finally got one of the bazookas that was in here. There's still another one though. And then these guys took out one of the artillery that was causing us a bit of havoc. And these 4 fired into here and got one of the Pershings. And now there's only one left. Now it has to make motivation.
Upon that, as the commander at this point, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to pull back my forces and retreat, because I don't see any way that I can ultimately win this, because Max has too many Panthers still up, and I don't have enough firepower to combat a full platoon of Panthers, unfortunately, at this point. Even though those ones have been completely useless. So from this battle, I will still maintain a rifle company HQ, 2 Scots, a Pershing, the 2 Sherman 75s, and another rifle platoon over here. Max is retaining
a Panzer Grenadier, but without one of its infantry, as well as 1 Stug, 3 late Panthers, and 5 SS Panthers.
All right, so that concludes this battle with a German victory. It was costly on both sides. I overall lost a 75 millimeter platoon along with a 76 millimeter platoon as far as the Shermans went. I lost a few infantry squads, so I'll have to count those losses up. A Scot, and in my opinion, most importantly, 2 of my Pershings. But I was still able to keep 1. Both teams, or both players, were able to capture our supply dumps. No one captured any intel this match, so ultimately, we won't be placing any of each other's stuff down, but on both players' next defense, we'll be able to place down defensive fortifications for our next defensive game, whichever may come first. So, until next time, the first battle of this Flames of War campaign ends with a German victory. Goodbye.
All right, so now that you guys have seen the game, we'll go ahead and go into the battle report conclusion summary, essentially. So it was Battle Report 1, Zone 1, Initial Contact. So it was a meeting engagement with the Allies as the attackers. Fury Company launched its assault against Purifier Company. Despite the initial success I had in the beginning, uh, my guys began taking casualties, and I lost my 76 millimeter Shermans on my right flank. I was playing it a little risky, running them out there with just an infantry squad supporting them, whatever, and uh, what is it? They were kind of out of range of my Scots, so it was kind of difficult to give them any kind of legitimate artillery support. Not that my Scots are the best artillery in this game. But after putting up some fierce resistance, though, I lost too much effective firepower to fight off the sheer amount of Panther tanks that Max had left. So I decided to take the loss, save what I could, and then pull back. If I really wanted to, I might have, if I got lucky with dice rolls, been able to take out one more Panther, but I wasn't willing to risk at losing my final Pershing within that unit. So I don't have a lot of them, so I need to keep my Pershings alive. And then, yeah. So our next battle report engagement is going to be in Zone 2 Bravo. We're still debating on what kind of deployment and battle type we're going to do here and everything. Obviously, the terrain here is going to be pretty open and everything. I am hoping to push Max into Foy so we can end up uh, doing like a more like city urban combat thing, which in my opinion, I find those types of engagements really cool and pretty fun to play. But yeah. So until next time for the second battle report, I'll catch you guys later.